Hi, my name is Will. Welcome to the distorted transmission for today. I'm talking to a band called Organectomy from Christchurch. How are you guys?
Good,
Good,
thank
mate.
you.
Introductions are in order. So perhaps we could start with, let's see, Alex, I guess.
G'day, I am Alex. I am the frontman and vocalist of Organectomy.
And who's next?
I'm Sam. I play guitar. I'm Matt. I also play guitar.
Tyler, play bass.
I'm Levi, play drums.
The best for last, eh?
That's
Of
it.
course. Okay, so Tyler, could you tell me a little bit about the history of the band? I believe that you're one of the longest serving members.
It started when I was in year 10 in high school. So 2010, just heard, I think it's End of Human Existence by Vulnerable Futurity. So I think it's one of their first albums. But I heard that, and it was the first time I really heard slam. I always really liked death metal for quite a few years leading up to then. And I think it was just the best sort of genre, like style that I found that really like flowed with me. And I really was quite eager to start a band, but never really knew what sort of genre. But when I heard like slam and like the more simple groovy stuff, I really appealed to me. So I reached out to the other guys I went to school with at the time. Sam was one of them, and then a few other guys that aren't in the band anymore, but it all started off from there. It was like an original solo project that I was doing by myself, but it wasn't like any good or anything like that. But no one in their second year of high school was really good at writing music. But yeah, it just kind of slowly went on from there.
12 years now, isn't it?
It's definitely been a while. It was quite slow for a majority of that up until we released our first album. That's when stuff started really kicking off, and it was just kind of more of like a fun after school / thing to do with the boys on the weekend.
You guys sort of surprised me because I remember seeing you once, I think it was at the King's Arms, and I'd kind of heard about you, and I believe that you had some merch out, some t-shirts and things at the time, but that was around the time that you released the first album. And I thought, oh, who are these guys? You know, that they look like they're sort of up and comers. And then I discovered that you were signed and you were doing all these things overseas, and you are quite accomplished for a band that had only been around for, at that time, 7 or 8 years, I suppose. How did you sort of get that success in motion?
Well, me personally, I never really saw it as like a option or like a possibility that it would actually get to the point it has.
Right.
But then we all really did put in quite a lot of effort for the album release, and then it ended up doing a lot better than we thought it would. And then it kind of like sort of ended up being more of a, oh shit, like this could actually become something quite awesome sort of thing. Yeah.
Sure. So Sam, how did you get the whole sort of was it Unique Leader?
Unique Leader Records. Yeah. So we self-released Domain of the Wretched, our debut full length, and we uploaded that to like Slam Worldwide, and it got like 100,000 views really quickly. And I did send it out to a few record labels as well, and almost immediately Eric Lindmark from Deeds of Flesh got in touch with us, and from there they offered us a deal to re-release Domain of the Wretched, and they then offered us a contract for some more records to go from there. Yeah, so we were absolutely stoked because there's a lot of bands on that label that we all love, and we were extremely humbled to be a part of that roster.
Speaking of the things you've released, the band did a few demos in 2011, an EP in 2014, followed by a few singles and compilations, culminating in the first full album release entitled Domain of the Wretched that we were just talking about, and another one in 2019 entitled Existential Disconnect, which I don't think I've actually heard. However, we were talking about the fact that you do have something coming out shortly. We can't really talk about it too much because there's going to be a release in May, but perhaps we could talk about surrounding information that you could give the people who are listening.
The majority of the album was written and recorded in our own home. I had Sam and Matt and Tyler around at my place, and we all recorded all the guitars and bass just onto my computer because technology is a wonderful thing at the moment.
Speaking of technology, I know that nobody else has got a fancy microphone, but you do. Did you use that fancy microphone on the recording?
No, I used a large dual diaphragm, like powered condenser, which cost me more money than I probably should have spent on it. We recorded Levi in Wellington at the Armory with Troy. Pretty much nailed our sound immediately.
Same place we did the Existential Disconnect, the last album.
Yeah. Right.
Same process.
Now this third album coming out is done basically the exact same way.
How many tracks on the album that we can't talk about?
This one's going to have 12, I believe.
One more than the last two. We've got 11 the last two. This one's got 12. That's going to be out in July sometime. And we're extremely excited about it because we think it's definitely our best work to date. The writing has always been one or two people the last couple albums, whereas this one is quite evenly written, or the efforts put into the writing were quite even among us.
Was it a case of like more chefs in the kitchen, or was it actually beneficial?
Our process is kind of like we all bring go away and write an entire sort of song ourselves, and then bring that to the collective table, and then people take it away and add little ideas and things to it till we kind of come to an agreement.
Sort of mold it, if you will.
Yeah. Sort of touched it up the way we wanted it.
You've done a bunch of overseas tours and such that I'm mostly unaware of, but what are some of the places that you've played, and what are some of the most memorable gigs that you've done, Levi?
Well, in terms of overseas, we did a brief Australia tour in 2018, I believe. That was pretty fun. And then ended up doing a tour package in the States in October 2019, which was Bloodletting North America, which was Disentomb, Visceral Disgorge, Signs of the Swarm, Us, Mental Cruelty, and Continuum. Yeah, that was awesome. We did like 22 shows.
That's a lot of shows.
Yeah, over like 24 or 5 days. We had some difficulties getting our visas sorted in time to make the start of the tour, but ended up coming in and like flying over to like Iowa to rejoin it. It was pretty crazy, but stoked that we made it over there. It's fucking awesome.
What's Iowa like? Is it like completely flat?
Yeah, cornfields everywhere.
Lots of blonde people.
America turned into just one giant blur. If I'm going to be brutally honest, I just can't really differentiate any part of it from one another.
My next question is, what is your writing method? Are you jammers or workstation types? Now, you kind of touched on that a little bit. You said that people tend to like think up whole songs and then put them on the table, but how do you actually achieve that? Is it all sort of back and forth with DAWs or DAWs, depending on how you term it?
Guitar Pro.
Guitar Pro, is that?
7
licensed copies of Guitar Pro.
Of course.
We sit there writing riffs and stuff ourselves, and then we tab them out, and then that's just the easiest way to send them back and forth so everyone can sort of edit them. And then we scratch track, so we record the entire song, every part, usually just program the drums.
Yep.
And then we take those into the studio. With the drum programming, does Levi get to weigh in on that, or is it one of those bands where the guitarist rule with an iron fist and the drummer's just got to shut his fucking mouth and play what he's told?
It's a bit of both. What do you mean you can't play that fast?
All right, well, that's just about all the time we have for today, but is there anything else you'd like to add at the end of the interview? Keep an eye out. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and follow Unique Leader Records. You'll see all the new album updates via their page and our page. Europe and UK, we're hoping to get there this year, if COVID allows, fingers crossed. We've got something booked for Australia as well, which will be this year. Hopefully that's going to
be announced in the next few weeks, possibly by the time this interview is. And yeah, we're doing our best to look into getting back to the USA ASAP. We definitely need to get back there and tour this new album over there. So yeah, hopefully COVID allows and World War III doesn't happen. So yeah, fingers crossed.
All right, guys. Well, thanks very, very much for giving me some of your time this evening, and I'll try to put some time aside so I can listen to Existential Disconnect like a good boy. Cool. All right. All the best. Cheers.
Awesome. Thanks, Will.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Will.
And thanks for watching.